Hey guys, welcome to another one of our coaching calls. So I'm excited for this one. I wanted to discuss more fitness. So we're gonna do both. Obviously, we're gonna do nutrition days, we're gonna do fitness days because there's so much. We could talk on and on and on and on. We could do so many of these. Okay, so that's the good thing. There's endless topics. Anyways, and then I do have something to run with you. A couple things that people sent me that they wanted answered. And they just couldn't be here, so here we are. Anyways, what I wanted to talk about is rep ranges and weights and the difference between, because you hear a lot of heavy weight, low reps for strength building muscle, and people always think, oh, we're gonna hulk up, you know? And then people are like, well, no, I want to tone. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to. When I explain it more, you'll know what I mean. So when people say, no, but I don't want to do that, I want to tone. So then they're like, so for that, I need to do less weight and more repetitions and so on. And it's like, no, it's not the case, okay? So first of all, toning isn't a thing. Toning doesn't exist. The look of toning, what we want, is what happens when somebody has built muscle and then leaned out. So cut out the fat in order for you to see all the muscles. That's the toned look. They didn't get that way from doing light weights, high repetitions. Like, no. And I mean, honestly, genetics has something to do with that as well. But you know, there's just different body types. There's short, stocky body types. There's tall and thin, and they're gonna be, you know, a little bit. They're gonna look more toned whenever they put on muscle, just because they're naturally just thinner. Or you can, you know, be short and not. You don't have to be stocky. Obviously, it's not the only body type. Anyways, there's so many different body types. That's a whole other coaching call. So let's not go into that rabbit hole. But what I want to talk to you about is what I said in the beginning: high repetitions, low weight, versus the opposite. I'm gonna get confused, and so I'm probably not gonna say it. Versus low repetitions, high weights. Okay, so we need both. Okay, so there's going to be different moves so whenever you're performing like compound lifts, these are like our big lifts, right? So deadlifts, overhead press, chest presses, rows, things like that. Then you're going to want to use heavier weights. Those are just traditional compound lifts. So now it muted me. Okay, there are hundreds of different variations of those, which you can then use the method of, you know, low weight, high reps. But for a traditional like barbell, dumbbell moves of these sorts, you're going to want to go heavier weight, because that's what's going to help you build the muscle that you need to get this toned look that people want. So you're not going to get bulky. That shit, excuse me, does not happen on accident. Like, you're not just going to accidentally be like, oh God, my reps were too light and I was lifting too heavy and this just happened. No, people train for that to happen, like serious hard work. Okay, it's not going to accidentally happen to you, so don't worry. But yeah, you have to go in and you have to give it all you have all the time. Train till failure, increase the weight, progressive overloads like we've talked about before. That's a whole other, like I said, separate coaching call, because that will go all day. But and then there are, like I said, times where you need the other rep ranges. We need both of them. We can't just lift heavy all the time, you know? No, you need both. You need cardio, you need conditioning, you know all that. But anyways, we're talking about the rep ranges. So now there are going to be other times. So like whenever, for example, the accessory moves. So these are not the main compound lifts. These are your other moves. So like push-ups, bench dips. You can do tricep extensions, push downs, bicep curls. You know, those you can use more the format of light weights, higher reps, just because it's a smaller muscle group. It's really about exhausting the muscle. That's it. That's either way, whatever you do it, even if you want to go, you know, the lighter rep range versus the heavier rep range, it really doesn't matter. It's just, first of all, what you have. If what you have at home only allows you to do one of them, then that's what you're going to do. And either one of them isn't more beneficial than the other. Ideally, I'd like to see both in a program, but one isn't going to train you to look a certain way, and another one's going to train you to look a different way. That just doesn't happen like that. So you need to just be intentional about your movements, whether you're lifting heavy or whether you're doing lighter with more repetitions. You just need to be intentional about squeezing the muscle, mind-muscle connection, breathe through the movements, engage your core, and fatigue the muscle, because whether you're doing 8 reps of 150-pound deadlifts or if you're doing 25 reps of 45-pound deadlifts, if you think about it, it's the same. The point is to fatigue the muscle. That's what's happening in either or. You're not, the only reason the weight is lighter is because you're doing more reps, not because you're training to look a different way or something different's gonna happen. That's the only difference, you know? And for just injuries, a lot of people would prefer to do the lighter weights, because heavier weights you do need to make sure, you know, your form is on point, because if not, you could easily get more injured than doing the other. So yeah, just for things like that, people do one versus the other, or honestly just preference, you know, or just lack of know. So yeah, I just want to get that out there. So if you're doing the workouts from home and you have like, you know, 5 to 20 pound dumbbells and you're like, man, I'm not getting anywhere with this, or if you're at the gym and you know, you want to go heavier but you're scared because you think you're gonna like bulk up, it's not gonna happen on accident, okay? Absolutely not. So the looks that you're trying to get are going to come from the food that you're fueling your body with. Whenever you're in the gym, all you're doing is building that muscle up, building that muscle, trying to burn some calories to help you get in your calorie deficit to then burn fat and things like that. But whenever you're in the gym, that's what you're doing. Whenever you're trying to transform your body to look a certain way, that is going to come from what you're putting in your body, okay? So if you're lifting heavy and then also in a calorie surplus, so you're eating more calories than your body needs to maintain, then yes, you're going to get this like bulk look, because that's what's going to happen. You're building muscle, one, and then on top of the muscle, you're building extra fat because you're eating in a calorie surplus. But if you do the opposite, so if you're in a calorie deficit where you're eating lean foods and lean meats and carbs and everything, whatever, you're doing all of these in a, you know, calorie deficit plus lifting heavy, then the opposite's gonna happen. You're gonna get this toned lean look that you have because you're building muscle and then you're shedding the fat to see that muscle, okay? So I hope that helps, because I know that's such a topic that it's like, it's just, I don't know, it's just very confusing, and it is very confusing for everybody. So I really hope that helped explain it a little bit. Yeah, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and then I could do like another one of these, or I can answer them in the comments, obviously. All right, cool. So moving on. So the next thing, I had someone ask about soreness, how to alleviate soreness, and they kind of said that they feel like they just got started and just went like super hard, and that's not the goal here. We don't want you to just train hard for like 2 weeks and then first of all you could get hurt, you're super sore, and you're not really getting much out of it at that point, because working out on sore muscles isn't the best thing. You want to make sure that your body, when your body is repairing itself, that's when it's building muscle and growing and things like that. So if we're just constantly working out on sore muscles, then your body's telling you something. Your body's telling you that it needs a break. So first, we want to just make sure that we don't go too hard in the beginning, because it's not a race. Like, this is, the goal isn't to do something and then be like, oh cool, I made it to my end goal and now I'm done. That's it. Cool, that was fun. No, this is gonna be like a long game. So you have to be in a sustainable mindset where you're gonna work out 3 days a week, 4 days a week, you know, and you're gonna progress properly. So if you are just starting out, you're not gonna grab 20-pound dumbbells to go do walking lunges with. That just doesn't make any sense when you haven't done bodyweight lunges in years or never, you know what I mean? Like, and I think it's honestly the misconception of that, like, bodyweight moves aren't as good, or that like you need to go hard to see results, and that's not true. Like, that's not true. You need to do what your body allows you to do and progress properly to be sustainable and then to see changes. Because starting off so hard, like, I'm gonna do 100 burpees every day for 30 days. I'm gonna work out twice a day for 75 days, 75 hard, insane. But that doesn't even make any sense. Why? And it's so unsustainable. It just sets us up for failure and for bad relationships with exercise and bad relationships with food. Honestly, that's all that's doing. It's not gonna, yeah, you're gonna lose weight, duh. You're working out twice a day, restricting your calories like a savage, or you're doing tons of cardio and on meal replacements. So yeah, it's not that it's working, it's that what else is your body gonna do? You know what I mean? It's not responding. It's literally just surviving. So that's not it. This stuff takes time if you do it the right, sustainable way. It does take longer, but this is the long game. It's not a quick race. Like, oh, I'm here, I'm done, cool. Anyways, and then the other thing was, not feeling the movement like where they think they're supposed to be feeling. So that's very, very common when starting out. So like, let's say, you're doing squats or you're hitting like your overhead presses and you're like, that doesn't feel like, overhead presses for the whole entire shoulder really, but really like that medial part of your shoulder. So people are like, I don't really feel a burn in my shoulder. Well, you're not really gonna feel a burn in your shoulder. You're gonna feel a fatigue in your shoulder, but it's not gonna be like this sensation, like where you're gonna be like, oh, like I feel an actual burn in there. But there is a way to help that if you're really just going through the movements. First of all, focus on what you're doing. If you're thinking about your grocery list for the day, if you're thinking about picking up your children from class later, you're thinking about the argument you had with your spouse early last night, you're thinking about all the work you have to do later, then you might as well just do cardio and call it a day, because you're not connecting with the movement at that point. So at that point, you just need to get some movement in that's going to be beneficial for your mind. And that is honestly, just get yourself some steady state cardio in. You don't have to think about it, and you just do it. But whenever you're going into lifting sessions, you need to be intentional about it. You need to go in with the mindset of, okay, I'm here to focus. I'm not here to be on my phone. I'm not here to think about everything that happened. And that doesn't mean we do that all the time. Like, you know how many workouts I have where it's like 45 minutes in and I'm like, I've done 3 sets and I'm been on my phone for 45 minutes. So I'm not saying like, calm down. I'm not a psycho, but majority of your workouts are for you to feel some kind of something, especially when you're starting out. You have to be intentional about it and you have to focus on the squeeze. So focus on the up phase as well as the down phase. So whenever you're doing your overhead presses, you're not just like, you have to be intentional. Get in your proper position, push them up, and pull them down. Okay, so you gotta go both ways. You also can't just thrust them up and then go slow on the way down, or go really slow on the way up and then just let them fall, because you don't have any kind of control in what you're doing at that point. Okay, so we just want to make sure that everything we're doing is intentional, and that, yeah, you're getting a really good squeeze out of things. So focus on what you're doing. And a lot of times it could also be that you literally don't know what muscle you're supposed to be working. So reach out to your trainer, me, or just do a quick Google if you feel like that's gonna take too long. You're in the middle of a workout and you're like, I don't know what a glute bridge is for. Let me just major muscles targeted in a glute bridge. Google, guys, easy peasy. So yeah, that's it. So I hope you gained something from this. We're gonna keep doing these coaching calls, keep dropping your questions. That way, if you cannot make it, I can answer them for you. And yeah, so have a great week. Bye. I hope you catch the live this weekend.